Good morning, you guys. Welcome to our Google Plus Hangout here with Joss Whedon. Oh my gosh, they're so excited. Look at them, just in the house. Of course, the prolific writer and director of, God, so many things, including The Avengers, and now the new movie that's out called Much Ado About Nothing. So we'll get into get into the movie with Joss coming up in a bit. But first, quickly, I want to introduce you to everybody in the Hangout. Okay?
All right.
We get to hang out with these fine people from all over the world, and yes, they're wearing pants. Trev is in the UK. Kyle is in Milwaukee. Kim is in Kansas City. Kempton is in Canada. Justin is also in England. We have Julie, who is in Oklahoma City. Drew and Sierra they're both in Calabasas. Diano is in Reno, and Ayub is in Leicester, England. And we do have a bunch of people watching us on YouTube, so I want to say hello to our YouTubers, and make sure you guys plus and share the link. Please like us and share the link. Thanks so much.
Like me, please.
Like us, thumbs up.
I hate that. Please like me. It's so needy.
No, we are needy on social media. We can be anyway. But they love you, dude. So listen, congrats on Much Ado About Nothing. It looks fabulous. I've seen the trailers, and it was hard to imagine that you were making this movie in between shooting and editing The Avengers.
Well, I was actually editing The Avengers.
Oh, you were already. Yeah.
No, it was just the 12 days off.
Yeah.
I did sneak off from editing a few times to do rehearsals in the afternoon.
How did you switch off a part of or did you have to do that? Huh?
Yeah, I completely shut down like a robot because I've been shooting Avengers forever.
Right.
And I was just kind of dizzy with it, and this was a way for me to reconnect with why I love telling stories, and all the people that I love who are in it, and the house that I love, and so it just it was my vacation. That's
what was fascinating, because this is what this man does on vacation. Is he makes a Shakespearean movie in his backyard and his house, basically. We're going to get into more details in just a sec, but I know that they're dying to talk to you, Joss, so I'm going to turn over the Q&A to number one. Sierra, yes, go ahead. You have the first question, baby.
Hi, I'm a really big Dr. Horrible sing-along blog fan.
Yay.
And I wanted to know, what's the deal? Why do you like making people cry so much? Did Stephen Moffat raise you in a cave?
We don't talk about that. Okay? Stephen did in that cave. It's not pretty. Your pain is hilarious to me.
That's just
and
simple truth.
It's not everybody. It's just you. Quote of the day. You.
Very good. Well, let's see who's next. Ayub, go ahead, Ayub.
You write stories that always have that generally have a theme of multiple diverse characters all working together. So I'm wondering, was this based on the people you grew up with, or?
Oh no, I hate them. They're terrible.
You only write about people you love, right? No.
Yeah, I always want to write stuff that's just about one lone man or woman, but then I sort of just get fascinated by everybody. I think it's kind of an escape, because people in the real world are frightening to me, and I can't make eye contact, and I like to tell stories that hurt them. Well, her. In the fictions, they're always about a group that made themselves, that turned themselves into a family. And, that's something that I did in my life. My friends are super important to me and very close to me. And I feel the strength that we get from each other is something that I always want to explore.
Diano, yes, go ahead, Diano.
Let's see, it's something I was curious about, or actually it's one of the members of the Geeks Around community was, and this is a great question, so I have to ask it. Are there any significant differences when working with your own universe as opposed to something like working with the Marvel universe? As in, a ready-made universe is more restrictive, or do you like the fact that there's a lot of source material available already, so there's less making stuff up as you go that you have to do?
Okay.
I like both. Obviously, getting to work with Shakespearean text or comic book heroes from my youth is a privilege. Is super exciting. I do feel it's time to create something new, a new universe. The thing is, once particularly in television, when you're doing that, it is laid out for you by the second episode. It's like coming into a universe that's already been created, even though you created it.
It takes a life of its own, I guess, basically, right?
I mean, the page stops being as blank the moment you're on episode 2. So much of that stuff that is original to me is very similar to walking into, this has already been cast with all the Avengers, etc.
Okay. Julie, do you have a question?
I do. Real quick question. Which version of Quicksilver do you think will be better? Yours or the version that Marvel's or Fox is going to do with Days of Future Past?
I like to think there's going to be a third, even awesomer Quicksilver in some other movie. Maybe Tyler Perry will have a movie.
Oh, man.
Don't even joke.
Don't even joke. God.
I have a question.
Yes, Kim, go ahead.
I saw the Much Ado About Nothing by Kenneth Branagh, and looking at what you're doing, you set it in today's time, but with the same Shakespearean talk. My question to you, how did you translate from the old environment of Shakespeare to the new today's timing? How hard was it to translate and transition?
It's not hard at all. There's two elements. There's elements that you have to update. This letter is suddenly he's reading it from a phone instead of a parchment. And then the attitudes and the dialogue you don't have to update. It's timeless. It really works. A lot of people forget that Branagh updated it too. He played it as basically like 19th century Italy, not Elizabethan times. And so it works in all these different times because the important things work no matter what. Every now and then it's fun to go, this will be cool. They'll be in a car. He'll have a gun instead of a sword. Those little things, but they don't really hit at the heart of the thing. The heart of the thing is what's timeless about what they're saying.
Kyle, you have a question? Go ahead.
Josh, huge fan. I was just wondering where you get your inspiration from for all these ideas of different like the Shakespearean part and from the Avengers and everything else. Do you just like bounce ideas off your friends? Do you just do it all on your own, or where do your thoughts and ideas come from?
I do just a wild and wide-ranging panoply of drugs.
It's obvious.
Stay in school.
Heroic amounts.
Get my inspiration from everywhere and from everything, and it's you can sort of tell because so many of the things I do kind of squash things together. It's like I want to make a space movie and I want to make a Western, but I don't have time to make both. What can I do? I like to take comedy and and drama and action, or if I can get everything into a movie or an episode, that's when I'm happiest. It could be something somebody says, something I see, something I read, something. I mean, there's just everything goes in the mix. There's nothing that doesn't inspire me in some way.
Kempton, did you have a question?
Yeah, Josh, I quite enjoyed your commencement speech. So I want to ask you what inspired you to use death as an idea to inspire graduates?
You're going to die. I did see that.
Yeah.
Good times. I wanted to get at the idea of not just conflict, but the sort of tension within ourselves that we tend not to talk about or think about or even admit to ourselves. We like to define ourselves as very singular, and there are these tensions in us that never go away. And I thought, well, the biggest and most obvious one to start with, a nice headline punch, is I don't want to die, but I definitely will. And it's somewhere in your brain you're dealing with that. Some part of your brain is going, that's not, there's no answer there. There's no win. And but we push that aside. We don't want to think about it, especially in our culture, American culture. It's like death is not okay. Getting old is not okay. This bald head reeks of death.
I fit right into the club here, as you can see, Josh, between Ayub sandwich with Trev on the end here, so you and I are in the middle.
Oh, yeah. So you're just making fun of all of us.
Just you.
Lustrous locks.
Just you. Justin, you had a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering. Some directors have said directing Shakespeare is quite an awesome experience and quite a hard task to do. I just wondered, did you choose to do that as a way to actually relax, due to things like the Avengers being so heavily reliant on effects and big costumes and things?
Well, yes, it was definitely a way for me to relax. Shakespeare. Some people were like, "Well, isn't it scary?" And to take something like that on, and to an extent, a little bit, a little scary. I'd seen the Brown version. It's wonderful, and so
Large,
do I have
yeah.
do I have a place at this table? But at the same time, you have a great script, and you don't ever have to worry about anybody changing any of it. So it is very comforting. The thing with the Avengers, obviously I'm trying to build from character in that movie in exactly the same way I'm trying to with What You Do, but there is a period where there's so much CGI tweaking and so much that it does feel like making a machine at one point.
To talk about the technical part of it, and if I can interject my question, you guys, is that it was interesting that you chose, I think your camera, your cinematographer has a background in reality TV, is that right? Like,
He's done a bunch of stuff, including
yes.
that.
So just the choice, I guess, in that for you. Like,
Well,
what was the thinking behind that?
Jay Hunter, wait, the black and white or Jay?
Both, yeah.
Jay had shot some Dollhouse with me, second unit, and the
okay.
second unit was very run and gun. We had these 5Ds, and we were outside and just getting all the footage we could. He shot Paper Heart with Charlene Yee. He's so the sort of documentary style he's very comfortable with, and we wanted to do something that was old-fashioned and elegant, but at the same time very sort of lived in and intimate and modern. And also we couldn't afford a dolly.
Oh, that's what it
So
is. That's
handheld
really what
was
it
way
was.
to go. Yes.
No, but it looks really good, and I am excited to see it. Before I go to Ayub, I want to make sure I got everyone else that wanted a question first. Did I get you guys all? Then I'll go back to
Okay, cool. Round two.
Ayub, go ahead.
Yeah,
You have,
round two.
the second to the last question. Go ahead.
Okay, you've created some immensely powerful female characters. Just wondering whether there's a woman in your life who is the core inspiration for those.
My mother.
Good question. Yeah.
My mother was, an incredibly articulate, hardcore feminist, and she, she raised me not very well, but she did instill in me certain values that, and then some of it just comes from yourself, and then my wife Kai is also not as scary as my mother, and nobody is as scary as my daughter. She's much too articulate. I have yet to win an argument with her, but no, you know what? I think I've always just been very comfortable being surrounded by powerful women. It's why the writers and actresses that I'm friends with are all serious creators. It's what you want. I don't understand why anybody would not want to be around the most powerful and interesting version of someone that they could be.
I thank you, by the way, for that, for doing that for us. Yes, I love seeing women in those roles. Diano, yes, you have the Kempton question. Go ahead.
Right on.
Wow.
This is actually more of a comment than anything else. Joss, I just want to say how big of a fan I am of everything that you've done. And I am very, very excited to once again this fall see a weekly Joss Whedon show on my TV. It's like, are you looking forward to that? It's like finally coming back into the world of TV after Dollhouse.
Yeah, you know what? I love TV and I miss it, and the fact that I get to do that on top of the world's best day job is pretty extraordinary. It's exhausting, but it's extraordinary.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to your wife and see exactly if that was a relaxing time for you during the Much Ado About Nothing on your vacation. If that's really true, do you think she would say that was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she would agree.
Yeah.
My husband's a writer, and so not quite on
It was
Avengers
her.
level.
It
but
was her
he's,
insistence that I make
great.
the movie because she knew that's how I would relax.
Ah.
Now Making Shield,
Good wife.
Making Shield not as relaxing, but hopefully as rewarding.
Okay, excellent. Well, very good. Well, listen, we look forward to seeing it. Much Ado About Nothing, and of course, the Shield. Well, I forget the
Agents of Shield.
Agents of Shield.
Oh,
Yeah, y'all, thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. That's,
I'm pretty sure you just called me Joss Stone.
I did say Joss Stone.
Yes.
Okay, now you officially have to change your name.
Joss Stone, Agents of Swords. We got it.
And
She is
Josh,
cracking me
my
up.
mind, right before I said that, I go, I meant to ask you a question about your pedigree, Joss Whedon, because your family, coming from your dad and your granddad, like, was there ever any other, like, choice for you as far as occupation? And I called you Joss Stone. But was there ever any question of you being a writer and director?
I mean, as long as it was, I wanted to draw comic books, I wanted to sing opera, I wanted to do anything except have a real job.
Okay.
So,
all right. And then now you can sing.
I agree.
Joss, thank you. Okay, let's take a quick photo before you go. Here's the camera. 1, 2, 3. Yay!
Cool.
Awesome. Okay, we'll do a GIF maybe.
and we want to say how awesome Firefly is. We're all big fans.
5 pictures.
We haven't brought it up.
Yeah.
but Firefly is awesome.
Firefly is true. Watch. Oh,
Okay.
Maria, you're bad.
Thank you.
Bye guys, glad I could hurt you.
Bye.
Bye.
bye.